Boom. Yo. God. The thing goes pop, 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 pop. Skinny kid pop, pop. And the poop, 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 boom. Skia. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Yo. God.
Welcome to Fantasy and Chill Players, Week 4. I'll be your quarterback, Ryan Keller. I'm joined as always by Britt Crawford.
Holler back player.
Britt, how are we feeling about those pending nuptials this weekend?
I'm not nervous about it. You know, it's a big weekend for me, but, you know, she's the right one.
Shout out to Morgan for putting up with Britt's lame ass for this many years so far.
She already called me out on having a terrible fantasy team today.
Yikes.
Shut her dirty mouth.
Okay, we're also joined for the second week in a row by Ethan Hargrave. What's up, Ethan?
West Side. Britt, it's not too late, man. You're still free. You can still run for the north.
Yeah, great idea.
I mean, I'm at least going to get in the honeymoon in before I decide anything like that.
Probably a good idea.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Okay, this week we're also joined behind the glass. We got producer Matt. What's up, Matt?
Hey, guys. Yeah, Britt, you fucked up. Back to you.
Matty Pie.
Okay, we're going to start out like we do every week with our fantasy studs. Matt, don't we have a drop for that?
Fantasy studs.
There it is.
Quality.
Okay, this week we're going to start off with the same guy we started off last week with. That is Tom Brady, who just absolutely roasted the Texans this weekend. 378 yards, 5 touchdowns. And he really got Brandon Cooks going this week too, which they didn't hook up at all last week like we expected.
Disgusting, man. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say this week I had the pleasure of going up against Tom Brady and Todd Gurley. It was just brutal. So,
wow. Yeah,
it feels good, man. Well, but hey, you got to tip your hat to the guy, Tom Brady, saying, hey, we're here to stay. Just going to chunk it to whoever the hell's open. Man, who got into the action? You got Brooks in the action. Chris Hogan got into the action. I mean, you name it, dude. And really, there was a couple of blown coverages. You could say, well, the Texans kind of, blew a couple of things, but really it was just Tom Brady just having his way with you, pretty much. 30.
Yeah, he got Gronk going too again, which is always nice to see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, he is the GOAT. There you go, Matt. You just got it right there. I mean, 378 yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean, 38 points. I had the pleasure of playing him and Brandon Cooks. So that was about 70 points I had to deal with right there. Needless to say, I lost.
So can we go ahead and put to rest that all those concerns about the Patriots offense after week 1 versus the Chiefs? I mean, obviously week 2 was against the Saints, who are just a terrible defense, but the Texans have a respectable defense. Their front 7 is great. Now that secondary
terrible defense as well.
I think the Texans are a little bit overrated, but they haven't really allowed like a 300-yard passer, I think since 2015, something like that. But I mean, Tom Brady's just Tom fucking Brady, dude. Come on. Amazing. You knew they were going to be down for that long.
I mean, the dude's thrown for 825 yards in 2 weeks, so I don't know.
Just disgusting, dude. What else can you say? The greatest of all. The fucking GOAT, dude. Come on.
All right. The next guy on the list is the top running back for week 3. And I was happy with this because I got him on fantasy team. Been hearing a bunch of shit about him all year so far. But he's the number 2 running back overall. That's Todd Gurley. At 149 total yards and 3 touchdowns. And like Texas last year, is Todd Gurley back?
Absolutely. I mean, I had him coming back and being the top 8 running back this year, but he's doing pretty damn good, man. Like, I was watching him. I was like, damn, Gurley's going off, He's doing it. And then I looked down, I realized, oh, I'm playing fucking Gurley. This is fantastic. Great. But yeah, man.
Yeah, he's got a good matchup next week with Dallas, but the only thing we're going to find out if Gurley is back. He's got a 6-week stretch going: Seattle, Jacksonville, Arizona, the Giants, Texans, and then Minnesota. So we'll find out if he's back within that next 6 weeks.
But that passing game, dude, he's in the
He
passing
is,
game
and that's
so
what's
much.
different.
Is it selfish of me to just be a little disappointed that he could have easily, if you watch the game, he should have had about 5 touchdowns because they had 2 goal line drives there that got stuffed, and they gave him 2 or 3 handoffs each of those times. He could have easily
Greedy.
put up about 50 points this week.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't take Gurley 3rd overall last year and end up trading him within about 4 or 5 weeks for Brandon Marshall and Kelvin Benjamin, which I think I got the better of that deal. So, no, yes, you're totally wrong to be greedy.
I mean, most people got Gurley like in the 3rd, maybe 4th round, 2nd, 2 to 4, something like that.
Yeah.
He was my round pick.
But I mean, still, come on, the dude's dropping a 30 burger, and you're upset. He had 3 touchdowns in the first half.
Hey man, I was watching the game. Started off Thursday Night Football, get off to a good start, and that 50-pointer was there for the taking. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I mean, staying on running backs. I mean, Kareem Hunt, this dude, just again. I know I'm jumping ahead. I'm sorry, but
no, I mean, talk about him, but it's just fucking ridiculous. I mean, if you're watching the game, you thought the whole time, like, oh, they're keeping him contained a little bit, and then once again, bust off a 69-yard touchdown run in the 4th quarter. Like, is he just going to do that every week?
No way. There's got to be somebody who puts their foot down and be like, bitch, you ain't going nowhere today. But I mean, he didn't have like 20. He didn't have like 20 rushes. He only had like 12, I think, or I don't know. It was somewhere in the teens.
I mean, he had 17, but he rushed for 172 yards and a touchdown. So.
I mean, I was watching the game, and it looked a lot more. If you go back and watch the highlights, it looks a lot more like the Chargers defense was helping them out, and they weren't tackling. They couldn't stop a nosebleed.
I mean, just to put this into perspective, he is the first player in NFL history to have a touchdown of at least 50 yards in each of his first 3 games, with the second most yards from scrimmage, 538 through the first 3 games in league history. That's just putting in perspective what this guy's doing right now.
If he keeps it up, he's a league winner for sure.
I don't want to be on pace, guy, but I did a little research today just thinking, what was the best fantasy football season of all time?
LaDainian Tomlinson.
LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006, and he averaged 29 fantasy points per game.
Ridiculous.
And right now, Kareem Hunt is averaging, I think, 32 points a game.
It's still young. Let's temper expectations.
It's only week 3. I said I don't want to be on pace, guy, but that's just stupid.
Matt, do you have a train soundbite?
Negative.
Or can you make one for me?
This is the best I can do.
I'm all aboard the pain train. Kareem Hunt is the real deal. I mean, this guy is unbelievable.
I mean, that was probably some kind of train right there, right?
Could have been.
For sure.
Okay, our top wide receiver this week was Stephon Diggs, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I think the big reason here he had a big week 1 with Sam Bradford, but he had Case Keenum going to this week. So whose house?
Whose house?
Case Keenum. Come on, guys.
Yeah. This is another I played the Buccaneers against the fucking Vikings, man. Oh my god. I hate life right now. Fantasy wise, anyways. Yeah, man, what can you say? He showed up, he did his job, man. Case Keenum. Who saw Case Keenum doing that? I mean, but Diggs, I mean,
I don't even think Case Keenum saw Case Keenum doing that.
I don't know what to say. I'm going to say this is a fluke. I mean, Diggs obviously has the talent, but there's no way that they do this again. No way.
Well, I mean, I would argue. I mean, they are playing Detroit at home. Then they go Chicago, Green Bay. I mean, they do play Baltimore, but I mean, they could be. He could have some stats in the next 3 weeks. Stephon Diggs is someone to look out for.
I mean, I wake up and I look at I'm checking out the injury reports, and I think the Buccaneers were missing 4 defensive starters. So, like, 2 defensive linemen, a cornerback, and one of their best linebackers. And I'm sitting there going, oh, God. Why did
I think McCoy went down as well, right? Didn't Gerald McCoy get hurt?
I mean, they weren't getting any pressure on the quarterback at all. The Vikings had the trenches on lock. So, Case Keenum, he's an NFL quarterback. If you give him enough time, he's going to carve you up.
Okay, we know that the Vikings, like, they've always been a decent team, and they're actually looking really good this year. But is it time to start taking the entire Vikings offense seriously from a fantasy standpoint? I mean, Stephon Diggs is going off. Adam Thielen is going off. Dalvin Cook has looked great. Kyle Rudolph can be good. He didn't show up the last 2 weeks. But Sam Bradford, if he can play like he did week 1, I mean, that's a viable fantasy starter right there.
Yeah.
I mean, guess where that all starts? The offensive line. I mean, obviously they're proving they have a great offensive line.
I mean, I think it's still a little too early in the season to say anything, but if they get, I mean, Bradford looked amazing the first week. It's a shame that he's not there. I don't know what his timetable is for him to come back, but if they stay healthy, get Bradford back, they could. I mean, they have weapons on offense now, and their defense is no slouch. I mean, they could make a deep playoff run.
Okay, and then just going through some more fantasy studs, I couldn't really highlight anybody else because there were so many people that went off this week. I noted, so in the first 2 weeks combined, only 25 players scored over 20 points. That's the first 2 weeks combined. In week 3, 30 players scored at least 20 fantasy points.
Definitely one of the most exciting NFL weekends we've had in a while. Even with everything going on with Trump being a dumb motherfucker, calling people sons of bitches. I mean, I know this isn't a political podcast, but it is sports related when he brings it into the NFL's, their spectrum or whatever. But
I mean, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I just want to watch football. I don't really care about anything else. I'm trying to watch football to get away from this crap. You know what I mean?
I did hear something on the radio, though. Do you want to guess the #1 selling jersey, I believe, in the past 2 or 3 days is?
That Villanueva guy for the
Yes, Villanueva from the Steelers, the lone Steeler who stood out there. And,
that's not what he was doing, but we're not even going to discuss that. We're moving past that.
All right, yes. Time to move on.
Let's move on.
Okay, we're going to go to fantasy duds. We don't have a sound drop for this, so fantasy duds. That's my sound drop. You like that?
That was beautiful.
Nice.
Okay, first guy. We talked about him for quite a while last week, and we had a big debate about whether we like him as a top 5 running back the rest of the season. And that's C.J. Anderson, who racked up a total of 43 total yards on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I also said not to start Trevor Siemian. It was at the Bills. I thought the Bills were going to play them close. It was going to be a close game. And, I mean, they just contained him. And, I mean, there's really nothing else you could say. It was a terrible game by the Broncos.
Yeah, I think you made a good call on that. I think this is – I mean, C.J. Anderson's going to bounce back this week, I'm pretty sure. Who they got this week? I remember looking at it and being like, oh, this isn't a bad matchup. But I think it had more to do with they just wanted to change the pace against the Bills. And they used it was more like they just wanted to use Jamal Charles a little bit more. But, I mean, I think he had like a 20-yard run. It didn't look bad.
Yeah.
They just didn't give him the volume that he has been getting.
I think it's very concerning moving forward because him and Jamal Charles split carries, and then Trevor Booker, who they're going to put in the fold, comes back either this week.
Devontae.
Comes back soon. Oh, Devontae Booker. Damn it, I did what you always do. Devin Booker, shooting guard for the Suns, 70 points. You might have heard of him. But Devontae Booker coming back for the Broncos soon, and I mean, that's 3 guys that are capable of getting the carries in that offense. So that's a little concerning to me.
Yeah, I mean, they do play Oakland next week, Ethan. I mean, that will be a very telling game for both teams coming off of bad losses. So that should be interesting.
Divisional match, too. It's going to be a shit show, probably.
At Denver as well, so that'll be a tough environment to play in.
I mean, I don't think you can go wrong by playing C.J. Anderson in this.
No. Yeah, you're still starting C.J. Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal Charles did look pretty good, though.
Yeah, we'll get into Jamal Charles a little bit later in the waiver wire segment. He's on there. But I want to move in to
Can
the
I
next.
interject real quick? We have a viewer
Okay.
question.
What you got, Matt?
It's it doesn't have really anything to do with fantasy studs or duds, but it's a trade question. Zachary in the chat asked, should I trade Crabtree and Garcon for Fournette and Standard? He has Howard, Mixon, Green, Allen, and Hilton.
I would say no to that because my rule with trades in fantasy is whoever gets the best guy out of the trade wins it. Now, unless he's just totally just empty at wide receiver and stacked at running.
Who is wide receivers?
Said Hilton Green.
Did he mention the rest of his lineup?
He did not. That was the only thing he
Well,
mentioned.
Without
I
any,
wouldn't do
without
that
any
either.
context, I would hold on to Fournette because I think he's a stud going forward. And guys like, who is it?
I think he has Crabtree and Garcon, and he's trying to trade for Fournette.
Oh, well, in that case, yeah, let him go. Get Fournette.
Oh, yeah. If you're getting Fournette, yes, do that
Yeah.
deal. Crabtree's hurt anyways, I think.
No,
Crabtree, they've been doing pretty good, but to me, they're just middle of the pack receiver guys. They're not guys that are just going to carry your team. And I think Fournette can be that number one running back for you.
Fournette can possibly win you a championship.
yeah, I mean, especially if you got Green and Hilton in your wide receiver slots already, you can plug somebody in the. I don't know who your other running backs are, but your flex spot. I mean, you can just plug and go on that one. But Fournette's looking pretty beastly, so I'd go for that.
I would say go for Fournette.
Yes. One more question before we move on. Sectarger, I'm not going to try to pronounce that again. Says, start Rivers or Mariota this week?
Mariota.
Yeah, Mariota.
Who are the Chargers playing again? They are.
It doesn't matter. Mariota's playing against the Texans.
Chargers are playing Philly.
Yeah.
Philly at home.
I mean, I got to go with Mariota just because he's my fantasy starting quarterback, and I can't go against my boy there. So I would go with Mariota also. Is that it for the viewer questions for now, Matt?
That's it for now.
Okay, my next fantasy dud. This is last week on the podcast. I said he will be your number one running back for week 3. And he put up a grand total of 25 total yards. That was Miami Dolphins running back Jay Ajayi.
The matchup was there, man. It
was.
so tasty.
I mean, how did the Dolphins get shut out against the New York Jets?
They didn't get shut out. There was a garbage time touchdown at the very end, I believe.
I had checked out by then, but they essentially got shut out.
I hadn't because I had Jarvis Landry, and they tried to hit him one time in the end zone, but they ended up going to Devontae Parker the next time. But, yeah, I mean, are you a little concerned as a Jay Ajayi owner? I don't know, but, I mean, this is only their second game, so I'd like to see at least 2 or 3 more games with Jay Ajayi. I mean, he's still a stud.
I mean, after it was all said and done this week, I feel like it was kind of like a upside down world in the NFL, don't you? Like a little, like some of these the Jets beating the fucking Dolphins. What?
Case
Keenum, ultimate. What's going on here?
I was listening to something earlier where a guy said he picked all 16 games this week and he only got 2 right.
Yeah, I think there were 9 home teams that were underdogs this week. And, I mean, there were a lot of underdog home teams who actually came out with a victory.
And if you think about it, the Patriots and the Packers were 1 play away from losing to highly outmatched teams there.
How did Vegas do this week? That's what I'm wondering.
All you have to know is Vegas always makes their money.
Okay, next
Kind of
up,
bonkers.
duds. I'm going to throw an entire team under the bus here, and that is the Oakland Raiders on Sunday Night Football.
Shit the bed.
Amari Cooper, I think he had 1 catch for 6 yards. Marshawn Lynch, what did he have, about 2 points? Derek Carr, I think he had about 5 or 6 points. Michael Crabtree, I think, only had 1 catch too. I mean, that was a team that was rolling after the first 2 weeks, and people were saying they're a top 5 offense in the league. And going against a Washington Redskins defense, it's not exactly a juggernaut. They just got absolutely just demolished.
Yeah, I mean, they got manhandled from the word go. I don't think they had a first down until the second quarter. I could be completely wrong on that. But they could not get anything going at all. Amari Cooper, I love Amari Cooper so much. why are you dropping passes that are hitting you in the hands? Time after time after time again. Why? They could not get anything going on third downs. They could never move the chains. They could never sustain drives. They couldn't block anybody. They just looked like they were tired. They looked like they just got done having fun at the Spearmint Rhino, and then they flew out to Washington to play, and then this is what you get. Bunch of saps. Ain't ready.
Yeah, I mean, this was like, hopefully this next game versus Denver will be a rebound for them, but you just got to shake this one off. It was a terrible game. Everybody's going to have them, and you just got to on to the next one for the Raiders.
They're going to Denver this week. Do you feel confident starting any Raider this week?
I mean, Tom Brady struggles at Denver, so no, I'm not starting. I'm probably not starting Derek Carr. Crabtree, I'm not sure if he's going to play. Cooper, I mean, I've got Lynch in the league, and I'm probably not even starting him at Denver.
Amari Cooper's been straight garbage the last 2 weeks.
Man, I saw somewhere that in his last 10 games, I didn't realize this, but in his last 10 games, he's only had something like 3 touchdowns and 360-something yards. In his last 10 games, man. I just can't believe that. I didn't look at his drops, but even his coach addressed it after the game. This is ridiculous.
No dancing for Marshawn this week.
No dancing.
I mean, the only 2 quarterbacks who scored lower than Carr were Phillip Rivers and Derek Anderson, I guess, got in for a few snaps for Carolina. Yeah? Okay.
Without straying away too far from Cooper, we have another question. If you have Cooper and you want to trade for a running back because you have David Johnson on your team, who would you try to target?
God, I just don't know who you could legitimately get at this point with how Cooper's been playing. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks he'll have a big game, and then that's when you flip him. But right now, I mean, what top 20 running back can you get for Amari Cooper right now?
I mean, a guy who's probably not happy with him, though, is Crowell. Maybe you could find someone. I mean, yeah, Crowell's not doing the best right now. Yes, exactly. Crowell's okay. I understand that, but you might be able to squeeze someone for Crowell, or even a guy like Tariq Cohen, who's going to be in the backfield, or even a Chris Carson, just someone who's got a few running backs that you might be able to trade for.
What about a Joe Mixon? Britt, you're a Joe Mixon owner. Would you trade him for Cooper?
I mean, I have quite a few running backs, so yes, I would 100% consider that trade.
So, what was this guy's name, Matt, that asked the question?
That was Sektajar, even though I told myself I wasn't going to try to pronounce that again.
I would try to go for maybe a running back of those kind of caliber, those few guys we named. There's no way you can get a top 10 running back right now for Amari Cooper.
But, I mean, Chris Carson is a guy you might be able to target. I mean, Seattle always starts off – yeah, or even Cohen. But Carson always starts off slow. He's probably not even being started in your league, but someone's probably picked him up by now, and you might be able to swing that trade, and he will be good towards the end of the year.
What about Amari Cooper for C.J. Anderson? Is that just not going to happen? You think that's too much?
If you can swing it, do it. But I don't think whoever has Anderson's not going to do that.
I'm telling you right now, if you got a chance to get Denver players, get them and if you think you're going to make the playoffs at all, try to get Denver players because their playoff schedule is so delicious.
But you're going to have to get a really overreactionary guy to trade Anderson for Cooper right now.
Hey!
He says he has Chris Carson, Joe Mixon, Cohen, and McCaffrey.
Sounds like my team. That's why I wanted. No. Look, you need to hold on to Mixon. Look, have faith in Mixon. He's getting carries, trust me. And then Cohen is
Cooper.
Who should he start out of those 3? Or he needs 3 to start next week.
Who should he bench is the question.
Yeah, I guess that's the question.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. So Mixon's playing Cleveland, McCaffrey's playing New England, and then Carson's playing Indianapolis. And then who the Bears playing?
Packers.
The Packers. I mean, and Cohen's the safest bet just because he gets so many touches. But I would definitely start Cohen, Carson, and Mixon. I would leave McCaffrey on the bench.
I think Cohen's got a nice floor. I mean, plus he's got a high ceiling, of course. I don't think they really – I mean, what was the stat I had on the wide receivers for fucking Bears? I think they only had the wide receivers for the Bears only had 4 targets and only had 1 reception. I mean, they were going to Cohen or Howard the entire game. I think they hit a tight end here or there. I mean, Tariq Cohen's getting some usage. Mixon's usage is going on. I think he outsnapped Jeremy Hill 2-1. So I mean, it looks like they're starting to make that transition to the new guy, to the new guard. And I mean, I think he's moving forward. He's going to look pretty good. McCaffrey, I'd have to bench McCaffrey right now just because New England, that and Carolina's just kind of the Saints did not cure Carolina this week.
Well, I mean, the thing you have to look at, too, is, like, Carolina doesn't have – I mean, Benjamin, I'm not sure if he's going to play this week. Olsen's hurt. McCaffrey led them in targets, I believe. And what is Bill Belichick best at doing? Taking away your best player. That's what he's going to do. And so, yeah, I would definitely go with Carson. I mean, Carson's playing Indianapolis. I mean, I think I could get a few yards versus their defense. And then you got Mixon. Okay, maybe not. But Mixon, I mean, Mixon's going to be solid. I mean, he had – 18 carries. It looks very promising with that new offensive coordinator. So, I mean, I would definitely go Carson, Mixon, and then Cohen for sure.
Yeah. The Bengals actually look competitive this week.
If y'all were him, would y'all try to package Cooper and one of his running backs for a better one?
That might be something that could happen right there.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. This next fantasy dud is straight shout out to producer Matt here, whose team just absolutely god awful this week. What'd you score, Matt? Like 60 points?
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Yeesh.
Don't make me this show right now.
Russell Wilson had half of them.
Nice.
More than half of them. Matt's 5th round pick was tight end Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce put up the old Jimmy Graham score, 1 catch for 1 yard.
Damn.
On a loaded Chiefs offense.
Rough life.
Okay,
I mean, you got Kareem Hunt. You've got Tariq Hill. What else do you need?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be 2 guys eating every single Sunday, and 1 guy's probably going to get left out more than not. But I don't see Kareem Hunt getting left out, so it's going to be between Tyreek Hill and Kelce, whoever can expose the defense more.
He was the 2nd look. Now he's like the 3rd look. So I think I'm not. Who else are you going to get right now besides Kelce?
Oh, yeah, and I mean, week 2, I mean, Tyreek Hill had, I think, 5 points, and then in week 2, Kelce had 17, the big weekend. Yeah. So it's going to be who's ever able to expose the defense right there. But you're still starting both of them.
Tight ends in general are just such a headache right now. I mean,
besides Gronkowski, yeah. And Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz has been doing solid.
A complete crapshoot.
Yeah.
The one guy will go off for 15 one week, and he'll put up 1 catch for 1 yard the next. And quite a few guys scored under 1 point this week.
Yeah, I mean, I was a victim of starting Jack Doyle, who, I mean, I listened to numerous podcasts, and everybody was high on him. And I think he ended up getting me negative points. Negative 0.4. So, yeah.
Impressive.
My Gronk at 26 is looking pretty good right now. If he can stay healthy.
Okay, my last guy is a guy we've kind of
someone calling in?
The hotline is on fire. This last guy, we've taken a shit on kind of the first 3 weeks, and we all kind of agreed that if he didn't get on track this week against the New Orleans Saints offense, then
drop him.
Would he ever get on track?
Scammy.
And he looks absolutely awful. I don't know.
Drop him.
Is, but Cam Newton, what is wrong with you?
We'll just start calling him radio. Dude, look, if your shoulder's still hurt, then sit out. Let Derek Anderson get in there and run the offense because he's a better passer than you. And if Cam Newton had 1 good year, and that's what everybody's so goo gaga about him. He's not a good passer, and that's what if he's not running the ball, then he's not viable in fantasy football.
Brute pretty much said it all. I mean, Derek Anderson, I think, would give him a better chance. But, I mean, fantasy-wise, Cam Newton, see ya, buddy. Put him on the waiver wire. You're off the team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm dropping him as
well. Get out of here.
You, bro. Okay. Big week for fantasy guys this week. Like we said.
Can I interject again one more time? I know we were talking about Kelce.
You just want to host the show or what?
Yeah.
Going back to old stuff.
We were talking about Kelce, and we had another question. The same guy. He wants to know if he should. Someone asked him for Kelce and McCaffrey, and they would trade Love Bell.
Okay, before we answer this question, like, how many people does he have on his team? He's named just about everybody.
Wait. Kelsey and McCaffrey for Le'Veon. He can get Le'Veon Bell for
Yes.
Kelsey and McCaffrey?
Yes.
Give it to me.
Le'Veon Bell is my number one running back from here on out. I don't care what Hunt's done so far. Le'Veon Bell has proven year after year he can give you 20, 25 points a game.
He's just getting warmed up, man.
Le'Veon Bell's a stud. Get him if you can.
Yes, if you can get him, he will carry your team.
All right.
Okay, so let's go. That's kind of it for our week 3 wrap up there. Let's look ahead to week 4. And the first thing I've written down, we talked about this team getting absolutely just demolished by a shitty Jets team. The Dolphins get to play the New Orleans Saints this week. Are our Dolphins players bouncing back? So we're talking
Wait. This game is in London too, so let that be known.
Gross.
It is in London. Take that for what it's worth. But a Florida team just traveled to London and absolutely just mollywopped the Ravens last week. So can the Dolphins do the same thing and get Jay Ajayi and Jarvis Landry back on track?
I mean, I expect this to be a shootout. I mean, I think the over-under was at 43 or 44 when last I saw it, but I think there's going to be some points in this game. It's going to be an early game. I think defenses are going to be slow. Expect some points in this game.
I mean, what has Smoking Jay done recently? I mean, I don't know if they can keep up with Drew Brees. I think there's going to be Ajayi versus Brees. So I gotta like. This is what I think it's going to be like. Okay, so it's going to be the Dolphins trying to control the clock with the run game, and they can't stop a nosebleed. So the Saints, they can't stop a nosebleed. So it's going to be Ajayi running over the Saints, Drew Brees taking him back, running over. You know, it's going to be a back and forth thing. That's what I'm looking at here.
Yeah,
Ajayi play him.
They're both terrible defenses, in my opinion, and they're both traveling a long way, so I expect some points going off. I would start everybody on both of these teams. I mean, the running backs for the Saints is a little iffy, but I'm probably starting Willie Snead. I'm probably starting I'm starting Michael Thomas for sure. And then Jarvis Landry, Devontae Parker, I'm starting as well, and Jay Ajayi.
Yo, what about Ingram? I think in the half-point PPR, he's had at least 9 points.
Ingram's interesting. I mean, we'll get to the waiver wire, but I think Kamara is a guy to look at down the road.
Ingram to me is your Jonathan Stewart, Lamar Miller, Frank Gore. They're going to get you around 8 to 10 points every week.
Yep, that's safe 7 points.
You forgot Lamar Miller in there.
No, he said Lamar Miller.
Oh, you did? Okay. I'm making sure you got him in there.
It's just funny that you knew that.
Mr. 9.
Okay, I've written down some other potential high-scoring games, I think, and these are teams that if I own anybody on their offense, I feel pretty good about starting them this week. And the first game is Buffalo at Atlanta. I can see that being a shootout. That Buffalo offense is capable of putting up some points, and they looked really good last week. And you know the Falcons are going to score. So if you own a Bill or a Falcon, I would put them in your lineup this week for sure.
I think this is where McCoy goes off. I think he's your lock of the week.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about McCoy this week too. Shady gets back on track.
120-2. Does that sound about right?
Shit, that sounds good to me.
I mean, the Falcons, their defense at times, they show sparks of greatness. Like, they look like they're kind of gelling together, and then sometimes they just look like they're just falling apart. So I don't know if it's a personnel thing or what, but Buffalo is physical as fuck on their line. So and they're kind of smallish on the Atlanta side, so I imagine they're just going to get manhandled. But, I mean, Falcons aren't looking too bad on offense themselves. This could be a really good game. I'm really excited to check it out.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of points.
Shows the over-under at
48.5.
I'll take the over there.
Yeah. Definitely taking the over.
Okay, the next game, which I think will be pretty high scoring, is Chicago at Green Bay. If you got Tariq Cohen, Jordan Howard, start him. If you got pretty much any Packer player, start him. I feel good about that. Lots of points in that game, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, we just saw 2 running backs be viable versus the Packers. I mean, I think Gio Bernard had almost 10, and then Mixon had over 10 points. So, yes, start both those guys.
That Bengals offense hadn't scored a touchdown yet. They scored 4 at Green Bay. So that Green Bay defense is not that good.
I mean, I think, on top of that, I think going forward, Tariq Cohen, barring any injury, I think he's an instant flex. Like, I think he's got the ceiling on the floor. but Jordy Nelson. This is a Thursday night game, isn't it?
Yes.
This is a Thursday night game. So, last week we were sitting there going, okay, St. Louis, or not St. Louis, but the Rams versus the 49ers Thursday night game is going to be a low-scoring affair, and we were completely wrong.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that Thursday night game, but, man, Rams and 49ers, that was a hell of a game. And if you had any Ram or any 49er, you could have started fucking Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, don't say it like that.
That's how you know this week was bonkers, okay?
Brian Hoyer's been the best Texans quarterback in 3 years.
He had 2 points and 3 points the first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He had like 30 this week.
Yep.
I mean, that's just 49ers and Rams. Like, good job, guys. Y'all made Thursday night fun again.
It was exciting. I'll give him that, even though
Best Thursday night game I've seen in a while.
Shitting bricks the entire time.
Sure.
The first half. Oh,
Todd Gurley, I love you.
Todd Gurley's touching my booty hole. Fucking ridiculous.
Okay, off the rape subject, let's get to my last game, which I think is going to be a high-scoring game. Speaking of Todd Gurley, those LA Rams travel to Dallas to play the Cowboys. I think there's going to be a ton of points in this one too.
Zeke's gonna eat.
Yeah, I mean, Carlos Hyde kind of put it on him. I definitely see Zeke having a big game. I don't see it as high scoring as most people think. I think some defenses are going to come out to play. I see a 21-17 game, 21-14. The Rams will play close, but I expect Dallas to win that game.
I really feel like Dallas really needs to come out and establish the pass right off the bat, just to, so they can get their running game some room. The offensive line, I know they're one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. But, I mean, they just been getting loaded. It looks like they try to establish the run first, and they're loading the box, and then they can't handle it for whatever reason. They're forcing Dak to beat them, is what it looks like.
True, but I mean, like Goff he played Indianapolis at home, Washington at home. He went to San Francisco right down the road, and now this is going to be his first time game. Is that a primetime game? No, it's Sunday at 1 o'clock. Okay, never mind. But
I'm talking about the Cowboys here.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I think Goff is going – I think the Rams are going to kind of go in there and struggle, and then Dallas is just going to be able to run the ball right down their throat and control the game, just like you were saying.
I mean, Zeke only had, like, I think 8 yards or 10 yards in the first quarter last night. And then all those points were given – or all the points that he got for fantasy was in the second half of the game. So – gotta feed the beast, man. Let's go.
Yeah. Is his second hearing coming up? I mean, is there still a chance he can be suspended for 6 games this season?
Yeah, there's a chance, but it's real small.
What are we talking?
He's clear.
It's
10%.
He's playing the rest of the year.
Yeah, I called it at the beginning of the season, but it's still, as a Zeke owner, I'm still sweating a little bit. I mean, just because there's that one chance. The way I built my team, I built my whole team around Zeke. Like, I took draft picks, in places. People halfway through the draft, people were going, "Do you have anybody that's not suspended on your team? Do you have anybody? Do you have a team that are you going to be able to fill the team week 1?"
And I mean, what's crazy? Alfred Morris has 4 carries, and Darren McFadden has none. Like, I mean, are you going to pick up one of those guys just in case something happens, or?
Oh yeah, I know some people who took McFadden
isn't active yet.
Yeah, people took McFadden like in round 8, round 9. That's looking like a wasted pick at this point. Major league wasted pick. If I'm going to pick up a handcuff, it's going to be Alfred Morris.
Yeah, that 4 carries for 1 yard so far. I'm just joking.
It's been the Zeke. They're trying to get Zeke going here. But I mean, last night, it did look like they kind of turned things around against the Arizona defense, which actually came out and looked like they were ready to play.
Yeah. And then we found out who they really were. They weren't who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Where's the drop at?
We got another I don't have the drop for that, but we do have another week 4 question. The Cards Rule 11 ask, he's got a wide receiver question, 12-team PPR. He needs to start 2: Garcon, Deshaun Jackson, Amari Cooper, Eric Decker, or Tyrell Williams.
Ooh.
Who was the first one? Him and Garcon?
Garcon.
Give me Garcon and Deshaun.
I gotta go Garcon and Cooper.
Man, Cooper at Denver though.
He's got to start catching passes sometime.
I don't think at Denver is the time to do it.
And he's actually had good showings against Denver.
Yeah. I mean, the
It's a
Bucks did
divisional
play
game,
well
dude.
at home, and they do have the Giants at home who are struggling, and I mean that will be at Tampa Bay. So, but Deshaun Jackson, I've played him for since Donovan McNabb was the quarterback. He gets you 3 points or he gets you 20 points. It's just the way he is.
Jameis is going to throw a D to him, though. He's going to give him chances.
He will. I mean, did anybody else see Mike Evans throw the cooler on the sideline this past weekend? He was pretty upset he wasn't getting targets.
The cooler.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Garcon though.
Yeah, he looks he looks like the wide receiver to have in San Francisco for sure.
So we can all agree on Garcon. We're a little split on Deshaun or Cooper, but I wouldn't even consider Eric Decker or Tyrell Williams. Although
No.
Decker against the Texans, that might be a sneaky matchup because Texans are very susceptible in that secondary, especially in the red zone.
It could be, but I don't want to overthink the situation. I mean, Cardinals have the 31st ranked defense versus wide receivers. I mean, I would definitely start Garcon. And then Jackson, I mean, don't be disappointed if you get 3 or 4 points, but he has that upside of getting that 60-yard touchdown.
Keep in mind that was PPR.
Yeah, but I mean, Decker, what has Decker done so far this year?
He was getting some quality looks. He was getting some quality looks last game. He was involved.
Yeah, I mean, Decker has 10 catches this season? I think he will get better. Don't get me wrong, but
I think part of it's his health.
Just saying, you're
just a rapport with the quarterback.
Secondary, so.
Yeah, and I mean, Tyrell Williams only has 11 catches this season. So, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe Amari Cooper would be a sneaky play.
Okay, I'm going to go through a few toss-ups. I'm going to throw out 2 names for QB, running back, and wide receiver that are pretty similar players this week, and just they've been similar for the whole season. So you tell me who you're taking this week. First, for quarterback, are you going with Cam Newton at New England, who's been giving up points left and right to quarterbacks? Are you going with a guy that maybe righted the ship this past week, and that's Andy Dalton at the Cleveland Browns, who the Bengals have absolutely owned the past few years?
I'm going Dalton 100%. I don't trust Cam Newton right now.
Yeah, well, this is like picking between a turd sandwich and a douchebag or something like that. What was that thing on South Park? This is horrible. Give me Andy Dalton.
You were right. Turd sandwich and douchebag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to go with Andy Dalton, too. He seems like the safer play.
It's like a grab bag of shit.
I mean, as Colin Cowherd calls Andy Dalton, the beige water pistol, not the red rifle. So,
I mean, out of the 2 turning it around for the rest of the season, Andy Dalton by far has a better chance.
Who would have thought that at the beginning of the season you'd be picking Andy Dalton over Cam Newton?
Oh.
I mean, I still would have maybe made that pick just because I know Cam Newton is not the player. But he had one great season. And, I mean, everybody just gives him all these accolades and all this shit. And, I mean, people forget in the Super Bowl, Denver's D made him look like a little bitch, too. So, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, his one saving grace was his feet.
Cam Newton's years in the NFL are numbered. Mark my word.
I'm not going to go that far, but I want to say that it's not looking good. Yeah.
He's playing for at least 10 more years.
10 more years?
What? Dude, his completion percentage is like 54%. That's what people were saying. Like, oh, he's not playing that well this season. His completion percentage is only 55%. That's his career average.
I mean, is this guy sleeping in Tupperware? Or what? Do you know something we don't know? 10 more years?
10 more years.
He looks like he's 45 right now.
I didn't say that'd be 10 good years. Just saying 10 more years.
Oh, is it holding a clipboard?
Still getting paid.
Yeah. I mean, look, just to go over his stats, his best year, he had 35 touchdowns, 10 picks with a passer rating of 99, and his completion percentage was under 60%. This year, he's actually throwing over 60%, right at 61, but 2 touchdowns, 4 picks. Last season, it was 19 touchdowns, 14 picks. He can't he can't read defenses. He can't throw the ball. He's not a pocket passer. Therefore, he doesn't fit in the NFL right now.
That's racist.
No,
Racist.
I can't think of another black quarterback I'd prefer over him, but no.
Deshaun?
Deshaun Watson.
Yes, I mean, look,
Dak Prescott.
people are getting Dak's half, but yeah, I'll give Dak the benefit of the doubt.
Whatever.
But Deshaun Watson, yes, he did look promising, but I don't want people to overhype Deshaun Watson. This is a terrible Patriots defense, okay?
Oh, God.
He did what he was supposed to.
Look,
Now, look, it was promising, but still, don't get overhyped about
We're
that.
going to talk about Deshaun Watson in a minute, so let's not get off on him.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's continue.
All right, let's go toss up for running back. These two running backs are playing each other. Would you rather play this week Joe Mixon at Cleveland or the Crow? Okay, I was waiting for the drop there. Isaiah Crowell. The Crow, Isaiah Crowell versus Cincinnati. So Joe Mixon or Isaiah Crowell?
I'm taking Mixon all day.
Mixon. I have Crowell too, and this I have to wipe a tear away.
Look, I mean, if Mixon wouldn't have slapped a hoe late at night, he would have been like a top 12 or 13 pick in the NFL draft. He fell to the second round. This dude's a stud. Don't get it fooled. The first offensive coordinator just didn't know what he had, trying to jumble all these things. This new offensive coordinator knows he needs to give him the ball in order for them to be successful.
Yeah, I'm gonna say offensive coordinator number 1 was getting a little too cute. They're just gonna start feeding this guy, and it's gonna be for the rest of the season. His outlook is real nice. Crow, I'm so disappointed with Crow right now. I think he's giving me a total of like 15 points in 3 weeks total. Like, come on.
Yeah, I got to go with probably Joe Mixon too. Isaiah Crowell probably going to get more opportunities, but that Cincinnati front seven is pretty nasty, and I think they're going to kind of shut down the run. Okay, wide receiver toss-up. Two guys that are big play guys, boomer bust. We going with Chris Hogan, Tom Brady's new favorite toy, versus the Carolina Panthers, or T.Y. Hilton with Jacoby Brissett throwing to him versus Seattle Seahawks.
That is I mean, I'm going to take Hogan just because, but I don't.
I'm starting to think that Hogan's a safe play now. Like a
He
safe
is.
number 2. I think right now he's the number 5 wide receiver through 3 weeks.
Yep, 37 points.
Like that's another misstep I made this week. I was so bad this week. I left Chris Hogan on the bench for my boy Martavius Bryant. That's a boom bust guy right there.
Ultimate boom bust right there.
I mean, really, Martavius Bryant's starting to look like a home only play in the flex.
Martavis Bryant, Britt's newest number 1 wide receiver.
Hey, I'm gonna ride that guy. He's gonna bring me a championship.
He's got so much talent.
Just to note that though, I mean, Panthers defense versus wide receivers. The first week they faced San Francisco, they gave up 117 yards. Not a very good. Brian Hoyer played better this past week, but then they played Buffalo, 66 yards. Then New Orleans, 160 yards, 3 touchdowns with a competent quarterback. Can you only imagine what Tom Brady's gonna do to them?
Tom Brady's going to go yammy.
Yeah, I got to take Chris Hogan in this one too. I think we're all in agreement. Damn it, we're agreeing on everything.
Well, okay, T.Y. Hilton looked pretty. You just got to give the boy the ball. I had him 3 years straight. Really, he wasn't getting it done with what was the other guy? Tolzien?
Yeah, Tolzien.
Yeah, the guy. Okay, talk about guys that don't need to be in the league. Okay.
I think the Colts finally figured out, and they said, Jacoby Brissett, throw it to T.Y. Hilton. He is by far your best weapon. But the thing here is that, I mean, Seattle defense, now they have been very susceptible this year so far, but that Seattle secondary is still capable of shutting you down.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was at Florida when Jacoby Brissett was there, and he couldn't even beat out Jeff Driscoll, who was actually the starting quarterback there. Brissett is good versus the Cleveland Browns, but when he plays a real defense, Seattle, he's going to find out what the NFL is all about.
Okay, we have some more toss-ups, but these toss-ups are for the rest of the season. So from this point forward for the rest of the season, who would you rather have going forward? So our first toss-up, which Houston running back do you want for the rest of the season? Do you want Lamar Miller or Deontay Foreman?
I mean, I'm taking Foreman just because Lamar Miller is like khaki pants, like boring, cheap, never gonna go anywhere. I mean, you know what you're getting. Like you're getting a $9.99 pair of khaki pants. Like, I mean, Dante Foreman's that nice pair of jeans you got. You can wear out whenever you want. They always look good. There's a lot of upside to them. They're the stretchy ones too. Just
Britt, this is the worst analogy.
Leave it to Britt to come up with the khaki pant analogy, right?
I'm just saying, man.
What?
Who wears khaki pants? Okay.
Jim Harbaugh.
Exactly.
I mean, I watched Foreman run, and I'm like, man, this he's got good vision. He can find holes. He can make plays for himself. And then I watched Lamar Miller, and it looks like he's just banging his head into the wall, hoping to get some yards. It's a matter of time, right? It's just a matter of time.
You would think that, but Foreman's worst enemy is Bill O'Brien, who, I mean, look, I just think the guy's a Lamar Miller. Exactly.
If the Texans stick Deontay Foreman out there on that last drive instead of Miller on that 3rd and 1 play up the middle, the Texans win the game. Deontay Foreman gets that yard.
They should have won that game so many times. It's not even funny.
That's a mismanaged game, man. It's just
Hey, I'll tell you what. Let's give the ball back to the best quarterback ever to play the fucking game, and you know what he's gonna do, and he did exactly what everybody thought he was gonna do.
Oh, no goat noise, Matt.
The young goat.
The goat.
The goat.
So that was. So are we in agreement that Deontay Foreman just has the much higher upside there? Just like we said, Lamar Miller. If you want that 8 points every week, stick Lamar Miller in your lineup. But
Deontay Foreman's definitely a stash right now. You're gonna stash him. You're gonna wait. I mean, he will eventually get playing time once Bill O'Brien gets his fucking head on.
I'm thinking week 6, week 7. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, what about Seattle running back situation? Now, this one's probably pretty easy, but Chris Carson or CJ Procise the rest of the year?
Yeah, that's a little easy. I mean,
Carson.
They were behind. Yeah, Carson all the way. Okay, so the snap count for the Seahawks was where was it? Oh God, I'm so disorganized right now. Carson had 41 snaps, Procise 27. Rawls, your boy, had 1. And I mean, you got to think about this too. They were playing from behind almost the entire game, and they had Carson out there. So obviously they have faith in him being, good in pass pro and being good in the pass game. He actually had a receiving touchdown. So I mean, you got to go with Carson.
And I mean, the thing with Seattle is I feel like, I mean, they're great at home. And I mean, they have Indianapolis at home this week. So, I mean, Carson's a definite start for me. But it feels like they always play down or up to their competition. Like, they always have close games, but I just feel like they're always going to be in position to run the ball. I mean, this past weekend they weren't, but Carson was still viable with a receiving touchdown. But I just think Carson is going to be the guy to own for the rest of the season.
Any love for Eddie Lacy?
Feast
Cut
mode?
him. Feast mode. Cut him.
That's a
Feast mode.
Oh my God.
No, sir. Yeah, no love for
stick a fork in him.
Stick a fork in that buffet.
Oh, he's got that nice organic fruit there too.
There you go. Flush it down.
Later, big boy.
All right, last season toss up. Sorry, a crowded Washington Redskins backfield. Robert Kelly, who will be coming back from his injury, Chris Thompson, or Samaje Perine.
I mean, I've been playing fantasy long enough. Like, Thompson is putting up ridiculous stats right now, but what is telling me the guy to own is still Rob Kelly.
Yeah, I don't think they're too happy with Perine. I think he fumbled the ball again this week. He had a chance to make a statement, and he did not. Thompson, I think he's getting 14 yards on average.
The third-ranked running back as well right now, 62 points.
I mean, when is it going to end? But, I mean, he's looking good. I think he's a good flex play, but I mean, Rob Kelly, if he's healthy, I think in a quarter and a half, the week that he got hurt, I think he had like 72 yards. So, and the offensive line did not look bad at all.
Yeah, Chris Thompson definitely had me sweating this week. I think my opponent had Chris Thompson and Des Bryant left, and I think I made the comment, man, as long as they don't combine for 45 points, I got this one in the bag. And I was sweating it out to the end of the game last night with Des because Chris Thompson put up about 30 points.
I mean, it looks for what I'm getting from my sources, they're not changing Thompson's workload at all. So I have to think that he's just going to be involved in the passing game, which is fantastic. Apparently, it's working great. But I mean, as far as the high volume guy, it's going to be Rob Kelly.
Yeah, that's a tough call for me, man. That's too close to call. They're both, I think, going to be good. I think both of them are going to be productive going forward the rest of the year.
Yeah, but I think Chris Thompson is so dependent on these big plays, and it's not sustainable. I mean, we've seen guys like this before. It's just he can't keep it up. There's no way.
This is very similar to the Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen situation for me. I think it's very comparable.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, it's in fantasy, volume is king 95% of the time. So
okay, any more toss-ups y'all want to throw out there for this week or the rest of the season?
Let's hit the waiver wire.
All right, so we are going to end
waiver wire.
Going over the waiver wire. So I'm going to throw out. We got some QBs, some running backs, and receivers. So I'm going to start with some QBs, and I'm going to tell you what their percentage owned is in your ESPN fantasy league. So the first name we got is our boy Deshaun Watson. Huge upside the rest of the season, and he's got those rushing totals, and he's only owned an 11.4% of ESPN fantasy league. So do we want to pick up Deshaun Watson going forward?
I mean, I'm not. I mean, his best game was versus a bad New England defense. He goes Tennessee, which I think has an okay defense, Kansas City, Cleveland, Seattle. I mean, his next game that I might even start him at is Indianapolis, Week 9. I'm not picking him up right now.
You're not starting him against Cleveland?
Cleveland?
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, he actually, I think, is a game changer.
Points against Cleveland?
I mean, he just has Hopkins, though, to throw to. Like, I mean, I don't know when Will Fuller's coming back, but
you can't
sure.
Will Fuller, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Hot hands.
Man, Deshaun Watson, I think it's too early to call anything on him right now, but he looks really good. I mean, he looked Butler, the cornerback for the Patriots, was coming out saying that, and I don't know if this is actually a compliment. I think it was supposed to be a compliment, but it said that he looked like Cam Newton, a new Cam Newton, what Cam Newton was supposed to be. Basically, the Patriots don't give compliments to anybody. You give. Somebody was saying that Bill Belichick was giving compliments to the punter of one of the teams they were playing. Like, they don't give compliments out. So if you have the cornerback for the top cornerback for the Patriots saying this guy's going to be a star, you got to think this guy's got he passes the eye test, and obviously he can stretch defenses out with his legs. It gives him it moves people out of the box, or it forces people to key on just him, so it kind of frees things up a little bit. But you got to figure out if this is just I guess something that defenses hadn't really figured out about him or something. I don't know. It's just kind of sketch.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many other options at quarterback right now. I'm not going to rely on a rookie to pick up right now.
Yeah, valid.
Next quarterback
who I think is a legitimate maybe pickup, and he's on a potential to be a top offense in this league. They were absolutely terrible the first 2 weeks, but they got the offense going this week, and that is Eli Manning, who past few years, he's been a viable fantasy quarterback. And, I mean, he has a pretty low floor because he can just go out there and throw 5 picks just any week. But I think he also has a huge ceiling with those weapons around him, and he's only owned in 17% of all leagues.
Okay, if Beckham's good, Eli's good.
Like, did the Giants all in the corner this week? Are they on the up now?
I mean, Case Keenum carved up the Bucs defense for 370 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, that's who Eli Manning plays this weekend. It's at Tampa Bay, which, I mean, they might be a different team, but I think Tampa Bay realized New York Giants, I'm sorry. Eli Manning and their offense realized they cannot run the ball. They have to pass the ball, and I think that's a good sign for Eli Manning going forward.
Yeah, I think this week Eli's a streamer, but outside that, you just gotta if Odell Beckham stays healthy, Eli Manning's gonna be okay. But they look lost without Odell Beckham.
Okay, I mean, are you starting Eli Manning or Trevor Siemian? Trevor Siemian's playing Oakland at home.
No, I got a better one. If you have Derek Carr, you are picking up Eli Manning and starting this week. You're not starting Derek Carr against the Broncos. You're starting Eli Manning against the Bucs.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Speaking
Speaking of Eli, we have another question. I need a question drop, but it has to do with his tight end. The Cards
Question
rule.
now.
There you go. The Cards rule 11 asks he needs a tight end with Olsen going down, and he has Doyle in there right now. Should he look to pick up Zach Miller, Charles Clay, or Evan Ingram, or just stick with Doyle?
His pain is not alone. I started Jack Doyle last week and got the blunt of that one. Evan Ingram has looked solid so far. I will give him that.
Here's the thing that we said with tight ends earlier. Unless you have the top 1, 2, or 3 guy, it is a complete crapshoot, and you have no idea what's going to happen. But saying that, out of that group, I would probably go with Charles Clay just because I think he's the most involved in that offense.
He is, but I mean, Ingram has gotten targets consistently. I mean, the first week, 4 catches, 44 yards, then 4 catches, 50 yards and a touchdown. And even this past week, 5 catches for 45 yards. So you can see the chemistry forming with him and Eli. I like Evan Ingram going forward.
What about your boy Zach Miller? No love for the Miller talk? Anybody?
Who's throwing to him?
Their offense sucks.
All right.
I mean, just to put tight ends into perspective, I mean, Jason Witten was, I think, the 2nd ranked tight end, and he got 1 catch for 3 yards. And I mean, that pretty much sums up tight ends.
He was number 1 going into this week.
Oh, was he? I'm sorry. I thought Gronkowski was.
He is now.
I mean, Mercedes Lewis has played 1 game, and he's the 4th ranked tight end, so that should tell you everything you need to know.
How about Austin Seferian-Jenkins?
He is a sneaky pickup. Didn't he lead them in targets this past week, or pretty close?
He was getting some looks for sure. I'm not 100% on the targets, but I think he's a sneaky pickup. I think he's gonna be a high volume guy. I would imagine he'd be something to look at.
Or even another guy, if he's available in your league, Vernon Davis. I mean, if Jordan Reed's going to be out, Vernon Davis is going to be viable.
He looks good.
If Jordan Reed is out, the Washington Redskins love the tight end no matter who it is. And Vernon Davis will be a top 10 tight end every week if Jordan Reed is out.
Dude, how old is Vernon Davis? He looked like he was like 23 out there still, like for real.
I mean, another guy, the Giants are giving up, I think, they give up 12 points, 10 points, and 10 points to tight ends, and Cameron Brate should be available in your league. He put up 4 catches, 33 yards, and a touchdown last week. He might be a sneaky play for Tampa Bay Bucs.
Okay, last 2 quarterbacks. These are both just kind of very low-owned guys. We got 7% owned and 1% owned. But one has been solid all season. That's Jared Goff. And I really I'm on the Rams offense. I think it's just a very underrated offense that can put up big numbers. And then what about old Blake Bortles? Did he turn it around this week? Like, is he good to go going forward?
I think the Blake Bortles deal is a fluke, man.
I mean, I would say the same thing about Goff just because they've played the Colts, the Redskins, and the 49ers. I mean, we'll see what Goff's about, just like Gurley after Dallas in these next 6 weeks, but I'm taking neither of those guys right now.
I think we're saying that Baltimore Ravens defense was a top 5 defense, and Blake Bortles just shredded them.
That was some jet lag, I think. I don't know. I mean, the Jags had just moved to London. I think they're 3-0 there now. They've never lost.
It's their home away from home.
It is the London Jaguars. I like it.
Wow. Oh man, I like Jared Goff. I saw some red zone numbers on him, and I think his quarterback rating was like around 120 or something in the red zone. That's pretty good. So
It's crazy what a good coach will actually like bring out the best in a player. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like I think
mean,
Jeff Fisher was
it's
doing
just
nothing for him, and Adam Gase has got some guys around him now, and I mean he's got some real potential there.
this is his second year too, so he's got some new toys to play with too. Sammy Watkins, man, did you see that one catch Sammy Watkins had down the line? Like it
Looked great.
it was ridiculous. Like
Was that the catch that he got concussed on, or the other one?
I don't know, but it looked fantastic. I can't tell you, but man, I think Goff is something interesting looking forward. I would definitely take Goff over Blake Bortles.
If you're a Sammy Watkins owner, I would be trying to unload him right now.
Yeah.
Because I do not think he's doing that one time the rest of the season.
Glass jaw. Well, he might do it again against San Francisco.
Yeah, I guess San Francisco, LA, part 2 will be about 60-50 this time. So
Looking forward to it.
yeah, I better make it another Thursday night.
As long as I'm not playing against Todd Gurley again. Holy shit.
Todd Gurley, we love you.
Get me off this ride.
Those are our quarterbacks. Let's go to running backs on the waiver wire. And we already talked about this guy, but if he is still available, which he's still available in 58% of all ESPN leagues, go get him right now, and that is Chris Carson. He is the new starting running back on a good Seattle team, and they're just going to feed him the ball the rest of the season.
Yeah, he's in for Crow this week. Crow's out.
Chris Carson, if he's available, go get him right now.
He's the man to have.
Another guy who's still surprisingly available in about 60% of all leagues is Tariq Cohen. If he's out there, go get him. Pick him up.
Pick him up.
Solid flex.
And I mean, another guy, I don't know if y'all talking about him, Wendell Smallwood for Philadelphia. I mean, Darren Sproles, I think what did he tear his ACL and break his arm?
It broke his arm. How does that happen, man? That's so brutal.
It's like an 18-wheeler accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was my next guys actually were Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the Eagles are gonna do going forward with Sproles out. But out of those two guys, I would definitely say Wendell Smallwood is the guy to own.
The thing that scares me about the Eagles, okay, is Peterson came out, I think today, and said they're going to start scouring the waiver wire for running backs. So what the hell does that mean? What kind of message is that sending you?
All I know is if some jackass, Matt, is trying to trade you LeGarrette Blount right now because he had a decent week, do not accept that bait right now.
How did he do in week 2?
Goal line carries.
How did he do in week 2?
I don't think he did very well.
Goose
I don't know. Okay, goose egg, yes.
The same as me?
If Turpin were here. How
he
many
got one
rushing
catch.
yards did you have last week, Ethan?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I had approximately 0, sir.
Well, you would have done better than LeGarrette Blount in week 2.
Hey,
LeGarrette Blount caught a pass.
There you go.
oh, my bad.
So Wendell Smallwood, he's only owned in 2% of leagues. I will predict he is the top waiver wire pickup this week in all leagues. So if you're in desperate need for a running back, go get Wendell Smallwood.
Real quick question. If Doug Baldwin is out, would you go Adam Thielen or Pierre Garçon from the Cards 11?
Ooh.
Garçon.
Everything I heard is Doug Baldwin's playing this weekend, though, right?
Yeah. I heard it's nothing serious.
I wouldn't even worry about that right now.
But if I had to pick, I'd probably go Pierre Garçon.
Yeah, I'd go Garçon as well.
High volume.
Adam Thielen gets those targets, though.
He does, but I mean, Case Keenum was channeling his U of H days in that game. I mean, he's not going to put up those 370 yards and 3 touchdowns, whatever it was. He's not doing that again.
Was that a career day for old Case?
I think it was.
I mean, let's chalk that up to what it was.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Two more running backs. We've already talked about actually both of them, but Jamal Charles, he's only owned in 21% of all leagues. And like we said, that Denver running back situation is about to get messy, I feel like. And I mean, they might like Jamal Charles going forward enough to give him a good workload.
I'm just waiting for C.J. Anderson to go down. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, he's a nice handcuff to have right now. You're still starting C.J. Anderson over him, but there is some potential for Jamal Charles in Denver.
Are we scared at all with Devontae Booker coming back?
No, not really.
Not at all.
Okay, well, that takes care of that. Okay, last guy on my running back waiver wire list is Deontay Foreman. He is available in your league most likely, although not in our league. I think Michael's got him. But if Deontay Foreman is out there, like we said, a few more weeks, he should take over the prominent role in that Texans offense, but you never know with old stubborn Bill O'Brien back there. But I think he's got a huge upside for the rest of the year, and Deshaun Watson really likes hitting him out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Pick him up.
If this was any other team, I mean, I would not be worried about, Foreman coming into play really heavy here, but this is the fucking Texans we're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, the years the Texans were dominant, which was only like maybe 2 years, they had a run game. They had a great offensive line.
Yeah.
This offensive line can figure it out, protect Deshaun Watson a little bit, and realize Foreman is the guy and will be the guy of the future. He can be a dominant force. I see him being a top 10 running back in the next 2 or 3 years in dynasty leagues.
He should be the guy, like right now. But I mean, if he's gonna come into play, it's gonna be week 6, week 7. So I'm stashing him.
Texans had some running lanes on Sunday. I mean, they didn't get that many handoffs, but when Lamar Miller and Deontay Foreman did run the ball, they had a good yards per rush average. So I think there's yards to have there.
There is, but like I said, don't take it out of context. I think New England's defense is struggling right now.
Struggle busts. Okay, last category here is wide receivers, and this guy is only owned in 31.5% of all leagues, and he's on an offense that I think is on the up and up, has the potential to be a top 5 offense, and that is Sterling Shepard. Now the question is, did the Giants get going? And if so, Sterling Shepard he's taken over that number 2 role from what they thought probably Brandon Marshall was going to be. So he's got a lot of upside going forward.
Yeah, I mean, in a big week for Sterling Shepard, Brandon Marshall still had, I think, 8 catches for 70 yards, somewhere around there. And I mean, Sterling Shepard's the bulk of his points came from one play. I do like him, but I'm not going to trust him going forward as much. I need to see it again.
But if you need wide receiver help, I would definitely pick him up and stash him.
Yeah.
The wide receivers are awful.
That one play he did have, that little cross route over the middle, that 65 yards, I think it was, that did look really pretty. But that was – Eli's just got to get the man the ball, really.
While we're on the Giants, any thoughts on Odell Beckham's touchdown celebration?
Which one?
I mean, the dude just doesn't get it. Like –
let the man have some fun. Come on.
What are you doing, though? Like, you're a dog, so you own the end zone. Like, I don't know. With the whole like the kind of feeling of things in the NFL today as well. Like, it just seems like he's only thinking of himself all the time.
I mean, I think it's just good fun. Who cares? I thought it was hilarious, to be honest with you.
Okay, next wide receiver guy, huge big play potential. He's super fast on a really great offense. Only owned in 8% of leagues. Had a big week this past week. Really had. I remember him last year scoring a big touchdown every other week, it seemed like, and that's Taylor Gabriel. What do we think about Taylor Gabriel going forward on that Falcons offense?
I mean, I think it was one play where he got loose. I mean, he's going to be that guy, but I'm still taking – I mean, you have Julio Jones there, obviously, and I'm still taking Sanu over him. I'm not really messing with Taylor Gabriel.
A poor man's Tyreek Hill, man.
Exactly what you said.
He looks – you get the guy some space in a lane, he looks electric. He really does. He has the potential to take it to the house, but he's like, what, number 4, number 5 on the feeding order in that offense. So – really, if he gets the ball, it's going to be a design play just for him. It's not going to be because they're checking down. He's going to be the second look or anything like that. So,
okay, another guy on the Chargers offense with the Phillip Rivers. Do you trust him or not? But that is Travis Benjamin, who received 8 targets this past week. What do we think about Travis Benjamin going forward? Oh, he is available in your league for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's viable. I mean,
receivers are pretty scarce, so I'm digging deep here.
The thing is, Keenan Allen is the man there, the number one. And then you have Antonio Gates and Hunter Henry as well. And then you got, what's the other guy's name?
Don't they got
Tyrell Williams?
their number one pick coming in here pretty soon?
Yeah, I think Mike Williams is going back to practice today. Or this week, I'm sorry. So
I forgot about him.
I'm not really messing with him. I mean, if anybody, I'd be looking for Allen Hurns or Marquise Lee, maybe, just because they're the 1 and 2 in Jacksonville. Like, there's nobody else Blake Bortles can throw to, besides the other team, which will probably happen more than not.
Okay, another guy on a really good offense who had a big week this past week, but I think that's more to do with just because guys were out. What about Geronimo Allison? Had, I think, about 120-something yards.
Yeah, I mean, if Cobb's out, he's definitely going to be viable. He kind of stepped into that role. I mean, you still got Jordy Nelson and Devontae Adams, but Aaron Rodgers is going to throw for over 350 yards a game. So he's, I mean, what do you have? 6 catches, 122 yards. He's definitely worth looking at if Cobb is going to miss some more time.
Yeah, I think pretty much said it.
Okay, last guy. Hear me out on this one.
Mm-hmm.
That is the number 2 wide receiver for your Houston Texans.
I'm done.
Bruce Ellington had great chemistry with Deshaun Watson on Sunday. He's definitely surpassed Braxton Miller in the pecking order. And, I mean, we don't know when Will Fuller's coming back or even what we're going to get from Will Fuller with a broken collarbone. So Bruce Ellington going forward, he was on the field for 70 of 71 offensive snaps.
I can see him being viable in a deep league, like a 12-team league, 14-team league. Right now, I think you might have better options, but I mean, he could be his second favorite target next to Hopkins.
That's what I'm saying. I think he likes him a lot.
But then again, you also got to think, like, how consistent is Deshaun Watson going to be passing the ball like that?
They say Will Fuller might come back this Sunday.
He's supposed to be coming back. If I'm looking for somebody on the waiver wire right now, just to kind of stash, or I mean, if I don't need immediate wide receiver,
hey man,
but I kind of want to upgrade.
You're giving away my.
Hey,
friend.
secrets kept or weapons wasted. Okay.
blow it out your ass.
That just seems like way too early for a broken collarbone to me. Like, that just doesn't seem like, what was that? Has it even been 2 months?
I don't know, man. I fractured my rib and was in swim meets the next weekend. So, I mean, it's all about pain tolerance, what you can deal with.
You took a fastball to the chest. Like, you didn't exactly break your collarbone.
I mean, didn't Tony Romo have a broken collarbone come back in the middle of the season at one point?
Speaking of shoulder injuries in football, Britt, didn't you about kill me in flag football one time?
You didn't run out of the ball. I don't know what else to tell you.
I believe
Flag
Shut the fuck up. I believe I had my guy on a go route and you threw it about 10 yards short, but maybe my memory's haze from the injury. I don't know.
Maybe.
Football injury.
We'll see.
Okay, so that's all I got for the waiver wire. Any more names jumping out to y'all?
Rough life. How about Chris Johnson?
Yeah.
For Chris Johnson?
He got, how many handoffs did he get last night? It seemed like he was getting a ton of carries.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely the go-to guy from the start. And
Kerwin Williams didn't last very long, did he?
Yeah, I mean, okay, back when was that? Week 1? It was Tariq Cohen, and then you had Williams. And there were people out there getting Williams instead of Cohen. It's like, I'm not going to name any names. Shout out to Michael Cade.
Yeah, that was all Britt's doing right there. Good job.
The puppet master, Britt? What?
Wait, what are we talking about now?
Were you manipulating people behind the scenes?
Me?
Talking about Kerwin Williams having no fantasy value at all, and you made Michael pick him up instead of Tariq Cohen.
I didn't make Michael do shit, okay? Michael's got the best team in our league, so I don't want to hear anything right now, okay?
Second best team.
Regardless of record. Shout out, Michael. You're my boy, Michael.
Just went yard. Jesus.
All I want to say is we're missing a member here tonight, Austin Turpin, and I just want to take a few moments to roast him.
Let's pay some
So, if y'all
respects.
got anything, yeah.
R.I.P.
Austin was a good man. He's probably the third most important person over at Hannah's house right now, behind her 2 cats. And those will be the only pussies he's petting tonight.
Oh,
Can I get a drum roll? Oh, Matt.
this is so bad, man.
There we go.
It just hasn't been the same with you not making fun of Austin all night. So,
And you know what? Here is this is going to be the Britt Crawford nut button of the week. It's gonna be. It might not be a surprise. Yes. Yeah. What's 9 plus 10, Matt?
21.
hey, how many?
Ezekiel Elliott. I'm hitting the nut button on
baby.
him. He is going to absolutely destroy the Rams defense this weekend.
What number is Ezekiel Elliott?
21.
21.
Wait, how many fantasy points did DeMarco Murray have on Sunday?
21.
Yeah.
How old do you have to be to drink in the state of Texas, Matt?
21.
All right, it's dead.
I got nothing.
Okay, so if that's it, that is week 4 of Fantasy and Chill. We will see you next week where we discuss, you guessed it, week 5. See you later.
Boom. Yo. God. The thing goes. Skitty keep pop.